Now I must identify what is a preliminary information device that I would like that candidate to see, touch, hear, watch. What is it? And let me describe to you the relative strengths and weaknesses of various presentation methods. I've already described the huge mistake of making a phone call and speaking to somebody about all this information. It won't work, forget it. Nobody who does that makes any money in this business. Now I could provide a video tool. Video tools are extraordinary. Some people just really, they're able to lock into that. I will describe to you, however, the fact that forever in my career, and it will take something earth-shaking to change this, I have long believed that the single most effective method of information delivery in this industry is audio content. Why? Because audio content is the only method of information delivery that does not require a sacrifice of time for its review. If you are today, right now, this moment in time, you're reviewing me on video, that means that you are not spending time playing with your kids. You're not out throwing a ball with your boy right now, not if you're watching me on video. If you are watching me on video right now, you are not being effective in your other business or employment endeavors. You are sacrificing time to gather this information, and I appreciate that, and I thank you for that commitment. If you are reviewing material on a website, well, you're not doing anything but that. And as much as I would love to think that you'd watch this video 35 times, my life experience has proven to me that that's not going to be the case. Audio is the only method of information delivery that takes advantage of downtime. Is it not true that you and everybody you know have countless hours every week in a car, on a train, on a bus, in a plane that are underutilized, terribly utilized? Audio is the only method that takes advantage of that time. People hear it again and again and again and again. So the first advantage, it takes advantage of downtime. Second, it is the only method of information delivery that is likely to receive multiple plays. And third, I really like this. It is the strongest teaching method because of the first 2 points. Literally, I can say that I've taught a generation of people how to properly articulate network marketing because they listen to that audio again and again and again and again. Well, obviously then I'm not teaching you right now that you only use audio, but I am teaching that my preferred method of preliminary information delivery is an audio tool. And if you'll simply go to my website, agileuniversegroup.com, or refer to your leadership, you will find whatever is the audio tool, the audio content that I'm using. I mean, at this particular moment in time, the audio tool that I'm using is called Agile, Destined for Greatness. Whatever the current tool is, you find out from your upline leadership what they're proposing. The Magalog is extraordinary. We'll talk about all these various things and the strengths and their weaknesses as we go on through our training discussions. But identify what will be the preliminary information device. If we've identified a candidate list, we've identified a preliminary information device. And again, what might the preliminary information devices be? It might be an audio CD. It might be a video, a DVD. It could well be an introduction to a web meeting. It could be a standard website. Now, there are strengths and weaknesses to each of them. Remember that I said there is a center line. There's no such thing as an absolute right and an absolute wrong. In my estimation, there is something to being dead exactly on the center line. And what I will suggest is that if I teach anything that is opposed to what you're being taught by your direct upline leadership, then I would ask that you communicate with that leader and say, gosh, I'm being taught this and Randy's saying this, help me understand. And then I would cede to your immediate upline leadership. See, he and she knows you specifically. I don't know you specifically. He and she knows your goals, your objectives. They know your work situation, your family situation. They know your financial situation. They know where your candidate list is. They know a lot of things that I don't know. But understand that we must next in our pattern of activities identify what will be our preliminary information device. Now, if we've identified our preliminary information device, then the next thing we have to do is become scripted. And I remember when I first was taught this idea of using scripts. It was years and years ago when I became a financial consultant for a firm called Merrill Lynch. And I was sent away to a training presentation in New York where I went out there for a month or so. And I was taught that I would use scripts. And man, that made me horribly uncomfortable. Because it seemed to me that if I was using a script, that I was then acting. Actors use scripts, theatrical things. That's where scripts are. I've learned over the course of my career that that was really an immature response on my part. It simply means that I'm prepared. If I'm using a script, it means that I'm prepared. If you think about this discussion, I mean, what do you think? You suppose this is scripted? Do you think this is the first time these words have come out of my mouth? Or do you suppose there was some preparation somewhere along the way? A script simply means that I know what information I want to present. I know what information I don't want to present. I've identified what is the most efficient way to get information delivered. That's all that being scripted means. Now, when I contact a candidate, assume that Peter's my candidate, and I contact Peter, I have to know in advance what I'm going to say, and I have to know what I'm not going to say. Now, I will tell you, this right here is one of the primary breakdowns. There seem to be lots and lots of people who want to have the kinds of outcome that I've had in this industry. There are very, very, very few people who seem to be willing to do some of these very simple things to gain the outcome. Become scripted. This for you is a huge litmus test. Watch this video today, watch it again in about 6 weeks, and then find out, did I become scripted? Did I follow this part? It is a huge gut check for you. This is one of those parts that requires a little bit of change, typically, if you're not used to using these. And when I use scripts today, it's become so natural, it's so automatic. It simply means, again, my sincerity is the same. It just means I'm prepared. So I call Peter, and I know in advance what I'm going to say. Peter, what are you doing today at 2 o'clock? Great, I'm going to stop by your office and I'm going to put a tool in your hands. Would that be okay? Yeah, that'd be okay. Now, if Peter says, Randy, what's it all about? I'm likewise scripted. I know how I'm going to answer that question. Hey, Peter, I'm on the fly and I know you are too. I'm going to drop by and I'm going to stick it in your hand. Would that be okay? That's it. I'm not evasive. Not at all. What I do know, however, is that anything I say more than that means I'm saying less. That's the truth. If I say more, I am saying less. If I take away the curiosity of what is this thing that Randy's going to give me, and then when I come and I see Peter, I'm still not going to violate. I'm not getting outside of my script. I'm going to look. I'm going to look him in the eye and shake his hand. I'm going to say, Peter, the information contained on this disc, in this mag-along, the information contained in this, whatever it is the single most important I have ever seen, heard, whatever it is. It's important to me and to you that you review it today. I'm going to give you a call tonight at 6 o'clock. Would that be okay? That's it. That's it. Well, Randy, what is... Peter, after you've reviewed the information, we can have a great conversation. Now, I'm not going to go into a great deal of scripting in this presentation. We don't have time. Except to tell you that there is, on a more expansive training that I've created, an entire list of scripts. You can also get scripts off of my website. Again, agileuniversegroup.com. Go in there, print them out, download them. I'm not in the sales tool business. Anything that I do, you can download them, burn them yourself. You can, of course, buy them from my fulfillment house if you want, just our artwork and so on. But anything that I do is yours for the taking. Go to the website, download and print the scripts. And you'll find that I have scripts for the first call. And what is the point of the first call? It is simply to place the tool. Now there has to be a script behind that first call. Peter, it's Randy. Did you review? Hey, Peter, it's Randy. How are you? Did you review? Now you notice that's an easy phone call. Hey, Peter, it's Randy. Why? Well, he's one of those 8 people that would jump off a cliff with me. That's an easy script, isn't it? Well, if instead I'm calling the hardest guy in my world, I'm calling my boss, I'm calling somebody whose accomplishments are so much greater than mine, it's hard for me to call and say, hey, Peter, it's Randy, right? I want you to develop positive momentum, a positive cascade of events, okay? Peter, it's Randy. Did you review the material? Guys, there are only 2 possible answers. Hey, Peter, it's Randy. Did you review the material? If Peter's answer is no, which sometimes it will be, and by the way, if Peter's answer is no, there's not something wrong with Peter. There's something wrong with the way that I presented it when I went. I mean, if I did my job right, if I looked Peter in the eye, if I shook his hand and I said, Peter, the information contained in this disc is the most important I've ever heard. It's important to you and to me that you review it today, and I'm going to call you at. Guess what? Peter reviewed it. And so if I call Peter back and he's not reviewed the material, I don't think, what is wrong with Peter? I think instead, what do I need to do differently? What do I need to learn from this experience? I call back, Peter, did you review? Whatever. And Peter says, well, no. I know what I'll say. I again have a script. Really? Peter, that is the most important information I have ever reviewed. It's important to you and to me that you review it today, and I'm going to call you back at. That is it. But Randy, what's it all about? Now see here, I find so many huge mistakes. A person calls back, and Peter, did you review it? And Peter says no. Now they forget everything they've been taught. Now they become a primary information provider, and they start telling Peter everything that he's going to learn. If you tell Peter everything he's going to learn in the tool, he has no reason whatsoever to hear it in the tool. And now, once again, he has completely lost the focus of the center line of our business. One need not have all of this knowledge. One need only have a knowledge of what the system is. Really critical stuff, folks. Remember, every single thing that you do in this business is teaching someone else what they must do. Peter, did you listen to the material? Yes or no? If I call Peter back a 3rd time and he hasn't listened to the material, I move on. Remember this, folks. We are looking for people who are looking. I've never yet one time in my life become successful at talking someone into joining our business. Therefore, there's no reason for me to believe that you will be successful at that. If I call Peter and he's not reviewed, hey, Peter, I appreciate the fact that you're apparently too busy right now. Peter, I understand that perhaps this hasn't provoked your interest. If you ever do review it and it provokes a further interest, would you make me your first phone call, please? And I'm gone. Now, just